Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with Joey Gazelle, just a regular guy involved in some shady business. One day, he gets caught up in a large messy drug deal gone wrong with his boss, Tommy. Things take a wild turn when masked men, pretending to be criminals, try to steal their stuff. A fierce shootout breaks out, and Joey's boss Tommy discovers these guys are actually dirty cops. In the chaos, Tommy hands Joey the murder weapons, and tells him to get rid of them. Instead of doing what he's told, Joey decides to stash the guns at home. Little does he know, his son Nicky and his friend Oleg see everything. Oleg, who lives next door with his mom and abusive stepfather, witnesses the whole thing, and decides to take matters into his own hands. When Oleg's stepfather goes afar, Oleg uses one of the stolen guns to shoot him. The Gazelle family hears the gunshots, and Joey rushes next door to find chaos. Oleg is missing, and Joey realizes that the kid has taken one of the murder weapons. Now in a panic, Joey sets off on a frantic mission to find Oleg and the dangerous gun, before things get even more out of control. As Oleg tries to escape the escalating chaos, he finds himself in a park, only to be intercepted by a homeless man. In a twist of fate, the man takes Oleg's gun, and drags him into a seedy public toilet and drug den. Joey and Nicky, hot on Oleg's trail, follow them into this dangerous territory. A violent altercation ensues among the criminals, with gunshots ringing out, giving Oleg the chance to slip away with the weapon. Running through the gritty streets, he encounters a pimp named Lester, mistreating one of his ladies, Davina. When Lester becomes threatening with a knife, Oleg attempts to defend the helpless woman, but discovers his gun is empty. In a tense moment, the prostitute intervenes, knocking out Lester, and saving Oleg. Grateful for his unintentional rescue, she decides to help Oleg by taking him to a pharmacy for an inhaler. Faced with a stubborn pharmacist, she resorts to using the gun to ensure Oleg gets the necessary medication. Meanwhile, the surviving dirty cop, Rydell, informs Tommy about the situation, revealing that Oleg now possesses the lost gun. Concerned about the implications, Joey meets with Frankie Perriot, the head of the Italian mob, at a diner. He explains that the gun used in Onzer's shooting wasn't from the earlier cops' shootout. Frankie, involved in a partnership with the Russian mob boss Ugorsky on a gasoline deal, emphasizes the need to find Oleg, to maintain their alliances. Outside the diner, Nicky spots Oleg and Davina entering the same establishment, and discreetly follows them inside. Oleg reunites with Nicky in the bathroom, and they decide to stash the gun in a toilet tank. Despite their efforts, upon returning to the restaurant, the gun mysteriously disappears from its hiding place, adding another layer of complexity to Joey's frantic search for Oleg and the weapon. After Oleg and Davina part ways outside the restaurant, he desperately pleads with her to take him out of town. However, their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of the police. Davina is swiftly arrested, and Oleg is taken into custody as well, heading to the police station in the back of a patrol car. Inside the station, the dirty cop Rydell takes charge of Oleg's interrogation, hoping to extract information about the whereabouts of the missing gun. Determined to protect himself and his family, Oleg weaves a web of lies to mislead Rydell. Despite the pressure, he manages to keep the secret hidden, and is eventually released into the custody of his stepfather. Back at home, tension rises as Teresa, Joey's wife, attempts to convince Mila, Oleg's mother, to seek refuge in a shelter. Mila shares a dark and painful truth with Teresa. She was once a prostitute in Moscow, brought over by the powerful mob boss Ugorsky. Pregnant and unwilling to undergo an abortion, she faced the threat of Onzer, sent by Ugorsky to end her life. However, fate took a turn, and instead of killing her, Onzer married her, providing her with protection from the ruthless mob. Onzer, determined to unearth the whereabouts of the missing gun, takes Oleg to an ice cream parlor. In a tense exchange, he attempts to pry the information out of the frightened boy. Fearing for his safety, Oleg bolts from the parlor, and finds refuge inside a parked van. The owners of the van, a couple named Des and Adele, discover Oleg and decide to take him with their 2 children back to their apartment. The atmosphere inside their home is peculiar, with a large playroom filled with toys, and a camera capturing every move. Suspicion gnaws at Oleg, as he senses something off about Des and Adele's behavior. Claiming an upset stomach, he requests to use the bathroom. Seizing an opportunity to escape, he stumbles upon Adele's purse by the door. Desperation sets in, and he takes Adele's phone. A call to Teresa, Joey's wife, becomes Oleg's lifeline. She instructs him to search the medicine cabinet for a prescription with an address, revealing surreal and threatening shadows dancing on the wall behind him. Teresa promises to rescue him, and rushes to his aid. As Des and Adele attempt to force their way into the bathroom, Teresa drives to the apartment. Breaking glass to enter the front door, she confronts Adele, who emerges in just a robe. Teresa confronts her and threatens to involve the police. Reluctantly, she allows Teresa inside. The search intensifies, but Oleg remains elusive. Just as Teresa is about to leave, she senses something amiss. Realizing there are no photographs of Des and Adele's supposed children, she questions Adele's story. Adele insists they've recently moved, with all their belongings still in storage. Undeterred, Teresa searches further. Des nods towards a closet in the playroom. Opening it, she discovers Oleg tied and gagged with a plastic bag over his head. With a gun in hand, she revives Oleg with CPR. Threats are exchanged, with Des and Adele defiantly claiming they will call the police. Unfazed, Teresa asserts her authority, prepared to face the consequences, as she prioritizes the safety of the kids. As Teresa frees Oleg from the horrifying scene, she instructs him to gather the 2 other children and go. In a desperate attempt to buy her silence, Des offers Teresa a tempting offer, $100,000 in diamonds from their safe. Disregarding the proposal, Teresa investigates a closet filled with disturbing items, children's costumes, plastic body bags, surgical instruments, and shelves of DVD cases bearing children's names. The playroom's floor is entirely covered in plastic, heightening her horror. Shaken by the gruesome discovery, she demands Des's phone, and calls the police, cleverly reporting fake gunshots at the apartment's address. Hanging up, she takes matters into her own hands, shooting both Des and Adele to protect Oleg and prevent further harm. Meanwhile, Joey's quest to find the missing gun takes a dark turn, as he traces its path to the owner of a body shop. Shockingly, he learns that the gun was sold to Lester, the pimp. Finding and taking Oleg along, Joey sets out to retrieve the weapon. However, their mission is interrupted when Tommy and Sal appear, coercing Joey to follow them to an abandoned train yard. Left alone in the car, Oleg becomes a helpless spectator of the unfolding events. In a tense confrontation, Tommy threatens Joey for his perceived screw-up, but abruptly turns the tables by killing Sal. Shocked and bewildered, Joey learns that Sal had been arrested, and had agreed to become an informant against their associates. Tommy contacts Rydell, the dirty cop, who has arrived at the train station to pick up what he believes to be the gun. In a chilling twist, Tommy reveals a bomb in the bag, resulting in a deadly explosion that eliminates Rydell and escalates the stakes for everyone. As the tension escalates, Tommy drives Oleg to a chilling confrontation at a hockey rink, with Joey hot on their trail. The Italian and Russian mob bosses, along with Onzer, await them. In a surreal and brutal scene, mobsters force Joey onto the ice, subjecting him to a merciless barrage of hockey pucks to the face. Ugorsky, the Russian mob boss, demands Oleg reveal the source of the gun. When the boy lies to protect himself, the boss orders Onzer to execute Oleg. A desperate plea from Joey halts Onzer momentarily, but the internal struggle is evident. Eventually, Onzer drops the gun, defying his uncle's orders. In response, Ugorsky coldly shoots Onzer, deeming him weak for sparing the boy's life. Seizing a critical moment, Joey decides to turn the tables. He implicates Frankie, the Italian mob boss, claiming that Frankie wanted to eliminate Onzer for cooking meth in the neighborhood, and that the gun belonged to Tommy. Chaos erupts as Tommy, now threatened, draws his gun to eliminate Joey, sparking a shootout among Frankie's mobsters. Amid the chaos, all the mobsters fall, except Frankie. As he approaches to finish off Joey, an unexpected revelation emerges. Joey discloses his true identity as an undercover FBI agent, a secret even concealed from his wife. Oleg, in a daring move, levels a pistol at Frankie, causing a moment of hesitation. This split-second pause allows Joey to grab Frankie's shotgun, and take swift action, eliminating the threat. Joey and Oleg make a hasty exit, only to be greeted by the arrival of the FBI. An agent explains that they lost Joey's signal. After the intense showdown, Joey takes Oleg out for breakfast, hoping for a moment of respite. However, their attempt at normalcy is shattered when Lester, the menacing pimp, enters the diner. Threatening Oleg with a knife, he escalates the situation. In a gripping struggle, he produces the chrome-plated snub-nose 38, the gun Joey had been desperately searching for. A brutal fight ensues, resulting in Joey killing Lester. Blood-stained and on the run, Joey and Oleg flee the diner, Joey sustaining some injuries. Back at the house, Mila, devastated by the belief that Oleg is dead, locks herself in the shed containing the meth lab. Holding a picture of Oleg, she takes a drastic and tragic step, igniting an open propane tank and causing a fiery explosion. The blast claims Mila's life, leaving Teresa and Nikki to emerge from the house, only to witness Joey weaving down the street, losing consciousness from his wounds. Joey crashes the car, and Teresa cradles him. Standing in front of his burning house, Oleg watches the devastation unfold, as fire trucks arrive. Days later, they attend Joey's funeral. Determined to start anew, they leave the city, and arrive at a small farmhouse. Joey's newly repaired Mustang is parked in the driveway, symbolizing a fresh beginning. Sitting on the car's bumper, Teresa addresses Joey, seemingly talking to his memory, "Don't ever ask me to bury you again, Joey." But surprisingly, Joey emerges from under the car, having faked his death to protect himself and his family after being outed, and embraces Nikki and Oleg. They become a united family, finding solace and redemption. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.